we have a small crisis, which I hope you can help with. It involves travel to the world of Zafaria. I was there long ago.
This is Savannah Rain Whisper reporting live from the test rooms where a bunch of Wizard City exchange students have gone missing. Headmaster Merle Ambrose is calling upon witches and wizards of all schools to head to the mystical lands of Zafaria to track down this troop of tardy students. There's a ton of new stuff to look forward to in this expansion, including 3 new mounts, at least 2 new pets, tons of awesome looking new gear, music players with magical scrolls, armor piercing and stun resist, new levels to reach, new spells to learn, new things to feed our pets, new items to craft, new bosses to fight, new friends to make. There's just so much to see and do. You'll have to have completed Celestia up to the quest through this door to enter this world, so if you haven't, you'd better get on it. Zafaria isn't the only thing making the news. King's Isle is releasing a new minigame called Grub's Guardians, which will take on a Zanga-style approach to gaming. This little app supposedly rewards players automatically instead of making them have to store codes to claim their prizes like games had previously. This is also independent of Wizard 101 and can be played on your mobile devices wherever you happen to be at the time. Players aren't the only thing on the move either. The Sultans Palace Mega Bundle has left GameStop shelves and is looking for a new home. King's Isle will be keeping us up to date on its whereabouts when it gets all moved in and will be available to players again. Big news in the Power Pip this week as the Topsy Turvy Tourny has finally come to a close. Aaron Legendblade decided to switch things up at the last moment and went up against Arc Warrior using his Death Student instead of his Ice. A few turns and a rather powerful wrath later, Aaron took home the tourney title and 60,000 crown prize. The Halloween Havoc level 15 through 29 matches are headed into the semifinals, with Digby Strongheart facing off against Wizard 101 Girl to see who will end up going against Julia Summer Dreamer for the 10,000 crown prize and mystery pet. Reflection and Aaron Legendblade are in the midst of fighting for the prize in the level 30 to 49 bracket, having completed round 1 of 3 to see who's going to take home the prize. Aaron is also in the semi-final spot for the 50 through 60 bracket, waiting for General Aiden and Jape to go head-to-head to see who will be advancing into the semifinals. All of this Halloweeny goodness will be coming to an end soon, so keep an eye on those rosters. The Halloween Havoc Pet Derby has already come to a close, with Alyssa 101 taking home first place and first prize. Congratulations! Welcome to paradise, the sign says as you walk into the palace of Sneakybob, and I'm sure his pets agree, romping around in a special yard set aside just for them. Sometimes they wander off on their own and find themselves in his crafting oasis, where Sneaky works on projects large and small for himself and others. He also keeps some of his trophies from around the spiral in tents off to the side, and even the tents themselves are treasures, having taken him forever to get. It's there he's crafted the carousel for his carnival, complete with minigames for his larger visitors and a pet cannon for his smaller ones. Sneaky says he spent as much time farming his impressive amount of statues as he has been crafting, which I'll believe. Inside his house, you're welcomed by the warmth of his sitting and music room, where anyone can chill to his wide variety of enchanted musical instruments. He often entertains here, but when he's not, he'll usually retire to his bedroom to scheme up something else to craft. His guests can relax in the Three Seasons Bar and Lounge, where Santa himself will serve you whichever bubbling beverage you desire. When Sneakybob is finished scheming, he'll head on down to his crafting room where the magic happens. If he gets peckish, he can head into his small dining hall where he imprisons and, oftentimes forgets unwanted visitors and statue thieves. There's a small reading nook off to the side with pictures of some of his favorite teachers where he can get his mind off of crafting when he finally decides to. There's also a throne room that's ruled over by the Easter Bunny? If you step outside his castle, you enter an open-air classroom where Sneakybob used to run an after-school storm support center for struggling diviners. There's also a small aviary off to the side for birds hit during demonstrations, where they're rehabilitated and let back into the wild. So you know how I told you guys about that surprise last week? Well, we're switching things up just a bit in Better Homes and Gardens. We'll be doing an anything but a dorm room dash in December. What is an anything but a dorm room dash, you ask? Well, it's pretty simple. You take your dorm room and you turn it into anything but a dorm room. You can make it into a library, a snack bar, a park, anything you want. I will display 2 of these rooms every week, and there will be one from each category. Wait a second, Fauna. There are going to be different categories? You bet. Dorm rooms will be divided into 2 categories depending on how many glitches are used in the decorating process. Any room with 3 or less glitches is considered an easy room, and any room with 4 or more glitches will be considered a hard room. On December 30th, I'll re-show all of the rooms in separate video, and you guys, the viewers can vote on your favorite rooms. There will be 1 winner from each category, and the 2 winners will get 10,000 crowns each. Now I know I asked guests of Better Homes and Gardens recently to wait a month or 3 before they resubmit their houses, but since this is a different ball of wax altogether, you guys can go ahead and enter your dorm rooms. You guys are all so creative, I can't wait to see what you make. The letters you guys sent in to Letters from the Spiral were pretty creative this week, so if that's any indication, we're going to be in for some pretty wicked dorm rooms. Our first question comes in from Cosmo23, who wonders, as the gap between strong and weak wizards increases, do you think King's Isle will make an effort to keep things more balanced? That is a very well written question, and it's perfect because Zafaria is coming up, so we'll be getting even stronger soon. Back in the day, when we could only get to levels 40 and 50, things were pretty balanced because everyone, I don't want to say they had around the same amount of health, but they were close. A level 40 or 50 wizard had about as much health as a level 10 or 15 might face in a boss battle, and they could manage that in combat. Now that we've made our way through Celestia, though, wizards have anywhere from 3,000 to 5,000 health points, and that's a bit extreme. That's too much to ask of lower level wizards, and sure, there are a select few out there that can handle it, but they have to play to the limit of their abilities every time they go up against a high level wizard, and that'll burn you out rather quickly, spiritually as well as financially. So what can King's Isle do about it? They can scale gear to wizard levels, and I've talked about that before. You basically get less stats from a piece of gear at level 61 than you would at level 60, but this would take a total overhaul of the game. Bosses would have to be redesigned to meet this new gearing style, attacks would have to be nerfed significantly, and it seems like a lot of work for a problem that's really only relevant in terms of being too easy and PvP. What I think King's Isle is going to do, what I hope they're going to do, is take a step back and look at PvP as we start to make our way through Zafaria and see what kind of system they can put in place to keep lower level wizards from facing off against higher level wizards that'll do horrible, terrible, soul-crushing things to them in a few rounds. What we may see in this situation is the introduction of level brackets, kind of like in Wizard Central tournaments, only built into the game. It's not as simple as just tossing a line of code in there, though. They're going to have to brainstorm, they're going to have to create this, and then they're going to have to test this new system to death. So if we do see solution to the small versus tall problem we're seeing right now, it won't be in the near future. Chunky is having the same problem I am, and asks, do you think KingsIsle will ever expand our friends lists? Gosh, I'd love that. I do believe that for a short while, KingsIsle had made friends lists something crazy like 500 people. Long story short, bad things happened, people lost friends, misplaced friends, confused friends, and the lists went kablooey. I think that's actually part of the reason they created the Lost Wizard forums on Central, but don't quote me on that. Getting back on track, KingsIsle has tried this in the past, and even though it didn't work at the time, it means they at least have the building blocks for it, and even if they have it on the metaphorical back burner for now, they could pick it up again in the future because companies hate throwing away things they have invested time and money into, even if they didn't work. They may even be picking away at this now as we speak. That's a great question. And, you'd think after just hitting the 20 million wizard mark that, maybe they'd give us 80 more friends slot to squish all those wizards into. Our last question this week comes in from Shannon Jade Forge, who wants to know, do you think KingsIsle will ever release new mounts for gold as well as crowns? A while ago we talked about why you only got so many streets in Wizard City for free, and to kind of summarize that, it was to hook us. It was to give us enough free content so that we could have fun, but at the same time, we'd want more. We'd want to finish the quests in Cyclops Avenue and Firecat Alley, so we were either going to subscribe or purchase crowns to buy these areas and do that sort of thing. They're doing the exact same thing with mounts here. You can get a handful with gold, which costs you next to nothing in the real world, but they're not the coolest looking things on the block and just about everyone has one. If you want something a little snazzier, a little more unique, a little more fun, you're going to have to pay for it, and that is the hook. That is what KingsIsle wants, because when people buy these mounts with crowns, they're basically paying for them with real money, and KingsIsle can put these microtransactions into the Mander Rehabilitation Fund or put them towards Malastair's medical expenses. Well, KingsIsle has people buying mounts with crowns. They don't need to release mounts that can be bought with gold. They didn't even have to originally, but they were nice and they did, and yeah, it'd be nice to see some new mounts that we could buy with gold, but it's not a necessity. It's not something KingsIsle needs to do to survive, so we probably won't see any more gold mounts for a while. Alrighty, that's all for this week's Wizard Weekly. I'm sorry it was running late. Thank you all for understanding, and yeah, have a happy weekend, everybody! Wizards of all schools to head to the mystical land of Zafaria to track them down. Track down this way to read the script. KingsIsle will be keeping us up to date on its whereabouts when it gets. If you want something a little snazzier, a little more unique, that English and goodly I can, yes please.